attempting to figure out that if following the American Revolution, the role of women in the United States changed and they were given far more legal, political, and social rights than women in other countries is true or not.
So basically what this is saying is that after the American Revolution, they were giving more legal, political, and social rights to the women in the United States, which is more than women had in other nations. So what we were taught was that women who did heroic actions during the war were not recognized and still always seen as lower. Also that women didn't really start getting any rights until after the women's rights movement, which started in 1848, over 50 years after the war ended. What do you think about this?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
After figuring out the myth they're trying to bust, the first thing they did was talk to their teacher, Mr. Anderson, and he went about it by giving them primary and secondary sources, which was the thoughts of a man named Benjamin Rush, a photocopy of a textbook page, and a PDF of Chapter 9 of a textbook. After receiving the information, Jenna and Samantha grabbed some highlighters and started highlighting.
In the document about Benjamin Rush, it says, "I cannot dismiss the subject of female education without remarking that the city of Philadelphia first saw a number of gentlemen associated for the purpose of directing the education of young ladies." It also says, "The attempt to establish this new mode of education for young ladies was an experiment, and the success of it hath answered our expectations." This is the first time we see men want to give education to young ladies. It shows that there is a social and legal change taking place because women were typically not allowed to attend school, and the fact that men began to help and accept it showed an equitable change. This is also evidence that women were having changes because in allowing women to attend school and using the word successful to describe it shows a change in the views of men considering a man who wrote this.
But if you take a look at this photocopy from a textbook that's about women after the American Revolution, it says that men did depend on the active support of women, and women actually fought in the battles too. But then here it says women remained in a second-class status, meaning that they were not moving up. And also, it says in the Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal, emphasis on the men. That doesn't include women.
Ooh, but if you take a look at a PDF from a textbook, there were women's rights as well. It says the idea of Republican motherhood thus took root, elevating women to a newly prestigious role as the special keepers of their nation's conscience. And it also brings up the educational opportunities again by saying they expanded.
Ooh, then right here, it says Republican women now bore crucial responsibility for the survival of the nation. They sure make women sound important here.
From this evidence, it shows that they are gaining political rights as well. After thinking and scanning evidence, they came to the conclusion that this myth is plausible.
Though they were gaining more political, social, and legal rights, they were still being permitted to a second social class. The status of women in the United States after the American Revolution did have more rights in some categories, but other nations also had rights for their women that may have been more superior to those of the United States at the time. Thank you.
How do I do that?
And go.
Okay. But if you took a pick a naka.